have spoken to the heads of the network, and it's all been confirmed, other than some fairly minor details. Audience, some location, which city would we put it into, but all things that will be settled very easily. I think it'll be very easy. The other side has to agree to the terms. They may or may not agree. I don't know if they're going to agree.
In a wide-ranging 77-minute press conference at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump took all questions from all reporters about all subjects and revealed some news about potential debates with his adversary, Kamala Harris.
With all of that being said, I think it's very important to have debates. And we've agreed with Fox on a date of September 4th. We've agreed with NBC, fairly full agreement, subject to them, on September 10th. And we've agreed with ABC on September 25th. So we have those three dates, and those networks, they're very anxiously awaiting that date and those dates. So we have September 4th, September 10th, and September 25th. We have spoken to the heads of the network, and it's all been confirmed, other than some fairly minor details. Audience, some location, which city would we put it into, but all things that will be settled very easily. I think it'll be very easy. The other side has to agree to the terms. They may or may not agree. I don't know if they're going to agree. She hasn't done an interview. She can't do an interview. She's barely competent, and she can't do an interview. But I look forward to the debates because I think we have to set the record straight.
That said, Kamala Harris at an event with the UAW was asked a question by a reporter, and she actually answered it, although it added to the confusion. Asked whether she would agree to those three debates as lined out by Donald Trump. Here was her answer.
Madam Vice President, Donald Trump agreed to 3 debates. Will you be participating in all 3?
I've always been on record. I am looking forward to debating Donald Trump, and we have a date of September 10th. I hear he's finally committed to it. I'm looking forward.
What about the other 2?
Let's make sure we get this done.
Now, here's what's confusing about that. The September 10th debate that she's agreed to, she didn't actually agree to it. Her predecessor, Joe Biden, agreed to it. That was supposed to be with Donald Trump on ABC. If you paid attention to what Donald Trump said, he said the September 10th debate will be on NBC. So was she talking about the debate on ABC, or did Donald Trump get it wrong and it's actually set for ABC? We don't know. The whole thing is still up in the air. Akash, last time Donald Trump debated his adversary, it was Joe Biden, and it was so bad for him, he dropped out. How do you think these debates are going to come by? And do you think that he's going to get all 3 of his debates?
If I were Donald Trump, I would use that old line, anytime, anywhere. There is no need for him to be afraid of debating Kamala Harris. Again, he rambles a lot. That press conference was very long, but if he trains up and practices and knows the issues he's supposed to be talking about, which I think he will come debate time, he will wipe the floor with Kamala Harris, not for any other reason than that her track record is horrendous and she has to defend this administration, and their policy track record is horrendous. And even more so is her role in it, which is that on all these big spending bills, Larry, $6 trillion in additional spending, Kamala Harris cast the tie-breaking vote to get it to President Biden's desk. All of these spending bills would not have happened. The inflation crisis would not have happened without the vote of Kamala Harris as vice president. It is literally that simple. I think that's all President Trump needs to get on the debate stage and talk about. And I think the American people are going to see a very, very stark choice.
Elaine, if the American people really do want a substantive policy-based debate, I think Donald Trump is there for it because the policies are on his side. And Akash is right. I mean, we saw Kamala Harris this week laughingly say that prices are still too high, and when she becomes president, it'll be her priority day one. Doesn't she have a job right now? Is she running against Joe Biden, Elaine?
What is she waiting for? She's been in office for 3.5 years. She could have started fighting inflation at any time, and she's going to wait until she gets elected president to start fighting inflation. I mean, it's crazy. I don't think that she is going to commit to more than one debate. I say that at a time. So the first one, if she loses, make no mistake, she will do another debate for sure. And I think she will lose. And my hope is that the terms of the debate are the same as they were with Biden, and that the mics are muted, because I don't think that Trump was ever more disciplined than in that debate with Biden. He let Biden sink himself. It's got to be the same strategy with her.
Yeah, I think you're right. And also, Chris, the more you let your opponent talk, generally speaking, it actually, they hang themselves. And if he does try to talk over her, she's going to do that thing. I saw you mentioning it earlier this week. She'll do the I'm speaking thing. That's her go-to. It's her trump card. I'm speaking.
Yeah. And by the way, that plays really well with the anti-Semite pro-Palestinian crowd. Just shout at them, I'm speaking. They're very impressed by your feminism. Rock on. No, I think the cut mic strategy, as Elaine said, is an interesting one, and maybe even why the networks will go, that worked out too well for him. We might go back to just leaving them open, because as Akash said, some people are critical of Donald Trump because he strays. And if you let him go and wind him up, he'll just keep going. I will say, to his credit, and as Akash mentioned, J.D. Vance in the last segment, these two guys did something so brilliant this week, and I don't think it was given nearly the credit it was due. Albeit the minute she gave it, she was smoked out, basically. They shamed her, and they shamed the press that covers her into forcing the conversation that she's not doing media. You got Van Jones talking about it now on CNN. You've got Politico writing about it. The New York Times writing about it today. Those things were not being discussed until J.D. Vance and Donald Trump did these events where, Vance strolls down the runway to her plane and Trump holds this press conference. Now everyone's discussing that she's not talking. And in my view, that's the win of the week.
Yeah. In fact, you even saw Nancy Pelosi, and I think it was the New York Times today, writing articles saying, yeah, she's not giving interviews. And that's smart. They're actually praising her for not giving interviews. It's part of her strategy. But with regard to debates, are you with the rest of the panel here? I think it's a very smart thing to press on three, because I got to tell you, I think Kamala Harris is a performer. I think she's playing a role that's been scripted for her, and she's got talent there. She can actually deliver a line. She can work on timing pretty well. I think she can muster enough to deliver one solid debate. But if there are three debates, I think that the cracks start to show, and that's where you actually see the real Kamala Harris. What do you think, Chris?
She's also really hateful. I mean, to be very honest, like you can see it. You can see it when she got upset at those pro-Palestinian protesters at her rally. She gets this angry scowl, much like Hillary did. I can imagine Trump saying, what a nasty person you are. I can imagine it coming because she is. I mean, her staffers, what's her turnover rate in her staff? 90-something% have bailed on her. She's known to be persnickety, to put it mildly. I think she not only cracks because she doesn't know what she's talking about. Genuinely, that's not a sexist dig. There are plenty of brilliant women in politics. She just doesn't happen to be one of them. She literally doesn't know what she's talking about. And, one thing that I wrote in my newsletter this week, Larry, I stole it straight from the most brilliant commentator there ever was, Rush Limbaugh. He created what he called the Limbaugh theorem during the Obama era. And if you remember what that was, Rush pointed out that Obama creates this cesspool of policy, all this destruction and ruin, and then talks above it, runs against it, acts like he's the outsider, and she's doing the exact same thing. The Limbaugh theorem applies again. She's trying to run as if she didn't have anything to do with this, and their policies don't create it. And I don't know if she's going to get away with it like Obama did, but that's exactly what they're trying.
Yeah, it's been, 3 full weeks now since she was placed in there by very powerful Democrat politicians and very wealthy donors as the nominee without one vote. She still hasn't given an interview. She hasn't given a press conference. And now she's only agreeing to one of 3 potential debates. How long will it last? We'll keep watching.